The story behind the "Wives Wanted" sign in Apgar, Montana. In the early 1900s, a group of young men living in a log cabin near Lake McDonald in Montana decided to advertise their need for female companionship by hanging a sign that read, "Wives Wanted," outside their home. The sign attracted the attention of photographers and tourists, who immortalized the scene in a famous photograph. But who were these men, and what was their life like in the wilderness? The Apgar brothers and their friends. The four men in the photograph were Bill Daucks, Frank Geduhn, Esli Apgar, and Harvey Dimon Apgar. They were friends and neighbors who shared a cabin in Apgar, a small settlement at the base of Lake McDonald. Apgar was named after Milo Apgar, a pioneer who moved to the area in 1891 and established a homestead and a sawmill. Milo had 9 children, 4 of whom were sons, Esli, Dimon, Milo Jr., and George. The Apgar brothers were among the first settlers to recognize the tourism potential of the region, which was rich in natural beauty and wildlife. They built cabins and boats for visitors, and offered fishing, hunting, and guiding services. They also operated a store and a post office, and maintained a good relationship with the local Native Americans. Frank Geduhn was a former Forest Service ranger who had worked in the area before the establishment of Glacier National Park in 1910. He was also known as the "cat guy" because he kept several cats as pets. He was responsible for bringing supplies from nearby towns to Apgar. Bill Daucks was another friend of the Apgars who lived with them in the cabin. He was a carpenter and a handyman who helped with various tasks around the settlement. The sign in the photograph. The origin of the "Wives Wanted" sign is not clear, but it is likely that it was a joke or a prank by the cabin's occupants. According to one account, the sign was made by Frank Geduhn as a way of teasing his friends, who were all bachelors at the time. Another version claims that the sign was a response to a newspaper article that reported a shortage of women in Montana. Whatever the reason, the sign caught the eye of many travelers who passed by Apgar on their way to Lake McDonald. Some of them took pictures of the sign and its owners, creating a lasting record of this humorous episode. One of these photographs became widely circulated and reproduced, becoming an iconic image of Montana's history and culture. The photograph shows the 4 men posing in front of their cabin, with Frank Geduhn holding a cat and a dog sitting between Esli and Dimon Apgar. The sign is clearly visible above the cabin's door, inviting potential wives to apply. The men are dressed in casual clothes and hats, and look relaxed and confident. The cabin is made of logs and has a chimney and a window. The background is filled with trees and mountains, creating a contrast between the rustic setting and the modern sign. The aftermath. The sign did not seem to have much effect on the men's marital status, as only 2 of them eventually got married. Frank Geduhn married Mary Ellen McKeever in 1909, and they had 2 children. Harvey Dimon Apgar married Anna Mae Smith in 1913, and they had 4 children. Esli Apgar remained single until his death in 1947. Bill Daucks also never married, but he adopted 2 children with his sister. The sign itself did not last long either. It was taken down by Milo Apgar Sr., who did not approve of his son's antics. He reportedly burned the sign or threw it into Lake McDonald. The cabin where the men lived still stands today, although it has been moved from its original location to another spot in Apgar village. It is now part of Glacier National Park's historic buildings collection, and serves as an interpretive center for visitors. The photograph of the "Wives Wanted" sign is also displayed at the center, along with other artifacts and information about the Apgar family and their legacy.